Hello, my name is Chuck Knickerbocker. Thank you so much for tuning in to Legion Strategic. Legion Strategic is a collective of like-minded individuals that enjoy firearms and the shooting sports. With Legion Strategic, we will be sharing our passion for the industry through social media, from YouTube videos to Instagram photos to articles on Facebook and more. But first and foremost, let's talk about firearm safety. Like a lot of things in this world, firearms can be very dangerous if not used properly. We'd like to start a solid foundation for Legion Strategic based on those firearm safety rules. So let's go over some of those rules to keep us all safe. Rule number 1, always keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction at all times. You might also have heard this as do not let the muzzle of the firearm cross anything you do not intend to destroy. This really is the rule to rule them all, because if the firearm does accidentally go off, you are less likely to hurt somebody or something. Rule number 2. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're on target and make the decision to fire. Too often times people let their finger rest in the trigger guard like this or against the trigger, which is even worse. You should keep your finger indexed on the frame of the firearm away from the trigger until you're on target. Once you are on target, then your finger can go to the trigger and you can keep it there while you are shooting. If you are done shooting, take your finger off the trigger. If you're not on the target, your finger's not on the trigger. Rule number 3, always keep the firearm loaded until ready to use. Now this is really kind of up for interpretation. To me what it means is that if you're not going to be using the gun for an intended purpose, you unload it and lock it up. If you're going to be carrying it for concealed carry, then you're going to have it loaded and on your body. If you are going to be using it for home defense, it'll be loaded and ready to go. Also with that, you should know how to clear and make your firearm safe. Some additional rules that you should be aware of is know your target's foreground and its background. Anytime you're going to conceal carry, you are responsible for every round you fire and everything it hits. So you need to be very aware of that. If there is somebody between you and the person that's attacking you, you won't be able to fire. I mean, that's what it basically boils down to until you get in an optimal position that you can. Also, be sure to store your firearms so they're not accessible to unauthorized persons. Children tend to have a very natural curiosity for things. In my opinion, I think it's better to start teaching them when they're younger so that they have better firearms handling skills throughout their lifetime. If a child does happen to get a hold of your firearm and it's loaded and it wasn't locked up and you didn't take reasonable precautions, you will be treated as though you pulled the trigger if something happens. It's very important to understand that. Also with that, you do not want criminals getting a hold of your firearm, so you should keep them locked up and keep them safe. Lastly is cleaning. Cleaning is very important to maintain a firearm and keep it functioning correctly. There's this great myth out there that Glocks never need to be cleaned, and I run a Glock. That said, I've seen my share of Glocks fail, and most of the time it's due to one of two things. Either one, it hasn't been cleaned well enough so it's incredibly dry and the parts fail to function and move. Or it's so dirty because, well, the person hasn't cleaned it in so long that it no longer can function as well. If you're going to bet your life on it, you probably should make sure it's clean and working. As always guys, this is a way of doing things, not the way of doing things. Make sure you do your own research to find out what additional safety rules might apply to you, but it really all boils down to common sense, and the wisdom of the wise is an uncommon degree of common sense. Thanks again guys for tuning in to Legion Strategic. Keep up to date with us through social media. You should be able to find all of the links below in the description box. We look forward to making gear reviews, torture tests, and instructional videos for you guys in the future. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For the power of one is the power of many.